I'm really excited for this next problem because the next problem we're going to work on is very closely related to the one after that. So we're going to have two questions in a row that are extremely closely related. The first version is going to be kind of a easier version of the problem, and then the second one is definitely much more challenging in my opinion. So we'll get kind of like the warm-up and then the real deal immediately after that. Now even the warm-up is still kind of a hard problem, and it is also definitely a problem that I think is very common to see on interviews. So they're both very useful, but it's going to kind of prep us for the tougher one. So I think it'll be a nice little build-up. So inside my code editor, I'm going to find the steps folder, and then I'll open up the index.js file inside there. And I think you know exactly what else we need to do. We'll start up our test with steps test.js -- watch, like so. And we should see a number of tests running, in this case about 4. By the way, just to clarify, the reason I always point out the number of tests is just to help you make sure you don't make a typo in the test file name. If I do step/test.js, then it's going to say, oh, hey, I couldn't find any tests. Just so you know, that's why I always happen to mention that. Anyways, let's take a look at this problem. So the directions are to write a function, which is kind of already done for us, that take an argument of a positive number, or in this case, really an integer n. So some positive number. The function should then console log. So key statement there, we need to console log a step shape, whatever that is, with n levels using the pound character. So in practice, the directions are kind of hard to read. It's a lot easier to just look at the examples right here. Basically, this is what we want to do. So if we call steps with 2, I want to see like pound, and then on the next line, pound, pound. And so they're supposed to kind of form a visual staircase, where these steps are the actual pound symbols here. That staircase is a little bit more evident on some of these larger number ones down here. So like, first step, second step, third step, fourth step. The number, just to be clear, is the number of lines that we want to log. So when we pass in 2, I want to see 2 lines of steps. When we pass in 3, we got step 1, step 2, step 3. The other thing that is extremely important, and the other thing that makes this problem a little bit more challenging, is the fact that if we have like just 1 step right here out of 2 total, there has to be a space character to the right of it. See, there's a space character right here. With steps 3, we should have a pound, and then 1 space, and then 2 space. So you can very easily kind of quickly realize that the number of characters in these strings is always going to be square. So we've got 3 console logs down for n of 3, and we have 3 characters from left to right. So character 1, character 2, and character 3. That's really important. Don't forget that. If you only log out just the bare minimum here of just the pound symbols, the tests are going to fail. So the tests specifically want to see the correct number of empty spaces to the right-hand side. And that is important because, like I said, the next problem that we're going to work on is very closely related. And the next problem is going to kind of build on this idea of making sure that you actually print out your steps here. So make sure you do that. Okay, so that's the problem. In this case, I think that this is one that really just requires a little bit of thought on your end. So there's not necessarily any big tips that I want to give you ahead of time. I'm going to just kind of let you give this one a stab. Remember that much earlier in the course, we walked through the technique of placing a debugger statement so that you can kind of work with your code and see what it's doing. And remember, the directions for that are in the diagrams for this course. This is a problem where I very highly recommend you use that debugger technique if you get stuck, because it's going to be really easy to help you figure out exactly what's going on as you run through your code. So let's take a break here. Give it the best shot you can. Remember, if you get stuck, don't sweat it. Just go to the solution, watch a minute or 2 of the solution, and then take another stab at it on your own. So quick break, and we'll go over the solution in the next video.